So
Yeah.
anyway, let's proceed to the music interview.
Yes. Yeah.
That was only the background of 3ZK.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's my question for the music side. So how was your upbringing
Mm,
influence your music style and lyrics?
okay. So growing up, when you're trying to rap, when
Yeah.
you like for me as a rapper, I started off with doing covers, right? So I do just rap covers.
Wait, sorry. Before we proceed with that question,
Yeah, yeah.
when you were a kid,
Uh,
is was the rap music influence you a lot, or there are other music?
it's a good question. I think when I was a kid and I was starting to listen to music more, um, my the music I listened to is a combination of what was trending at that time
Ah, yeah.
slash also songs that were a hit back then when my sister was still
Uh,
young. Because I have a sister, an elder sister.
Shout out, sister.
Shout out to Ate
Ate
Debs,
Venus.
Ate Fifi.
Mhm.
That's how she's called now. But she would listen a lot to punk rock, so Blink 182, and
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah.
listened to all these different boy bands as well, Backstreet Boys,
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's really into them.
90s.
The 90s, yeah. So if you don't know, I'm a Gen Z, but I'm the first generation Gen Z, so I'm very close to being a millennial.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I still, for some reason, I mean, I think it also had a part to play with my sister, and living with her. I was able to still tap onto the millennials music. So that was the first set of songs I listened to. So it wasn't always rap, definitely not.
Ah, okay.
But then, like we talk about what was a hit at that time. So you turn on the radio on the way to school, Eminem is gonna come on. Lose yourself in the music, the moment. Like all these songs will come up, and then eventually Flow Rider,
All
like
right.
Shotgun Low, 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 these songs.
Yeah.
Black Eyed Peas was a thing as
Oh,
well. Back then. I
Apple
think
Diap is a Filipino.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Apple the app. So I didn't even know, and when I found out, it's really cool. And it's just there's a lot of different music that I listen to, and I did try to rap a little bit when I was young. Like I gave it a shot. I did some rap covers, but I didn't do it with intention. I just did it for fun.
For
Just
fun.
wanted to have a bit of a laugh with my friends. But yeah, definitely different types of music. I listen to a lot of different types of music. But you were asking me about
How was your upbringing
how was
influence?
how did my upbringing. So I think in terms of rapping, rapping for me, as I mentioned before, I didn't do it as much to begin with.
Uh-huh.
I started doing it more when I because I think at some point as a third culture kid, like there's so many things you sort of struggle with. So one of them is identity. So identity, trying to figure out your place in the world because
Identity crisis?
yeah, identity crisis. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's very common for third culture kids. If you watch like TED Talks,
Yeah, yeah.
they will explain that they're lost their identity. They don't know where it's rooted in because identity is really relying a lot on your roots,
Uh-huh.
and it's a lot more easier for someone to have an identity when you've been in one place your whole entire life. Like rappers usually when they like let's talk about the American rappers or even like UK rappers or many rappers when they tell you their story, when they tell you where they're from, they'll tell you the streets that they represent, the gangs they're affiliated with.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll tell you the people that raised them, and it's just for us as third culture kids, that's a little bit difficult to
Yeah,
explore
I
because
understand that. Yeah.
moving so much, and so identity is one thing, and then the next thing is purpose. So having a purpose and why we're doing what we're doing. Why or what do we do with ourselves? Because we're always sort of like the odd one in the crowd. Like we don't feel like we belong anywhere. So it's like, oh, what do I do with myself? Like how do I sort of what's my part to play in this community? Or how
That's
can I
my
contribute?
purpose. Yeah.
And so I think for me, a big a big influence for me is definitely getting to know God. Like I think that's one of my basic foundations as just as a person, putting the artist thing aside. I think it all started from there,
Uh,
having something that is constant. For me, the idea of having God in my life, that's, he was constant. Everything else was moving and changing around, but he was constant. And so
Yeah,
that really helped with my, shaping my identity. I think the next thing was purpose. And so I think trying to understand what to do with myself.
yeah.
And I think, through my journey of, I guess, seeking God, and also seeking
Mm.
myself, I found myself in a place where something I've always been doing,
Oh.
little did I know, would actually have an impact in my life. So usually me and my parents, we have
Mm.
a tradition. We watch wrestling, WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Once a month, there's a pay-per-view. We'll sit
Yeah,
down as a
yeah.
family, we'll watch. And I remember this, it was 15 years ago. I still remember 15 years ago. Um, I was watching WrestleMania with my parents. At that time, The Rock and
Mm.
John Cena were gonna fight.
Yeah,
It
yeah, I
was.
know that.
They say it
I
was
remember
once.
that
Yeah, you
promo,
remember
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
This is their first confrontation.
Yeah.
They had a second one. They said it was once in a lifetime, and then they fought again the following year, I think. But my point is, usually in wrestling, prior to the main event,
Yeah.
they always hype up the fight. So they'll have like all these sort of trailers of each wrestler. They'll,
Different kind of
different
promotions.
kinds of promotions, and usually in these sort of trailers, they explain why they're gonna fight in WrestleMania, or why they're
Ah,
gonna, they're gonna, or this guy betrayed him, or this guy,
yeah,
he
yeah.
looks up to him, and now it's time to meet his hero and try and be the better man.
Mm.
But basically, in that whole sort of promo um, scenario, they were playing rap music.
John Cena's music.
Yeah, John Cena and The Rock during their when they're hyping up the
Okay.
fight,
Yeah.
they'll show John Cena training or The Rock training, and they'll put like a rap song, just a random
Ah,
rap song in the background. And I remember there was this one rap song that stood out for me,
which one?
and it was a song by Machine Gun Kelly,
MGM.
MGK,
MGK.
and it was called Invincible.
Ah,
The song was very motivating. It was like it's like that type of song, like from like you started from the bottom, now I'm up here, and I grind to get up there, and that's kind of like the whole gist of it and what I was getting out of the song. And so I listened to that, and it made me think. 15 years ago, it made me think, oh
so that made you decide
yeah,
that
that
I
made
want to do this.
yeah, like suddenly it just hit me. I was like, oh, actually, I I really liked. I think what I liked about it the most was I was able to relate to his rap because I at that
Uh,
time, third culture kid,
yes.
feeling very low, low esteem, self
Mm.
esteem, and like lacking that purpose, and that I just didn't know what to do with myself. So that was like, oh, he's talking about like being
Yeah.
looked down on, but he rised up, he rose up, sorry. And so like I want to rise up too, and like I feel very motivated, and
Yeah.
I decided I was gonna try and do something that would be similar to what MGK was doing, which is to rap. And so 15 years ago, I grabbed a Samsung flip
Uh,
camera. Back then, we had those little cameras where you can sort of flip it. I don't know if
yeah.
you know
The
one of those.
digicam,
It's like a
something like
digicam,
that.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I set that up on my study desk,
Uh-huh.
and then back then we had the BlackBerry.
Oh
So I
yeah.
had a
Yeah,
BlackBerry
yeah.
phone. I put my instrumentals there. I put it under the study desk, and then I played the beat. And then I did a cover
Ah.
of that song, Invincible, alongside a few other songs. So I
So that
started.
was your first cover.
My first ever cover was also called Invincible, but this was by Tiny Tempa. This is
Okay.
I think Tiny Tempa is a UK based rapper.
Okay.
So I think so. Might have to look that up again, but yeah. So and
So that song was, I mean, that song of MGK
yes, yeah,
made you fall in love with
yes,
rap music.
yes, that's right. Yeah.
Ah.
So for some reason it just hit me right there while we were watching WrestleMania. In the
Okay.
middle of John Cena doing his little training montage while
Yeah,
they're it's like it's meant to just be a hype video. They're hyping up
yeah,
their
yeah.
fight. But
So you were hyped.
I was hyped by the hype promo. It's
Ah.
amazing. So and then I started rapping. I started doing rap covers.
Okay.
Usually what I would do is I'd put a flag on my video,
What flag?
any flags. If I
Okay.
feel like like the American flag, I'll put
Alright.
a little American flag, like in a little sort of stick.
Uh-huh.
and I'll just start. I'll start like I'll explain that I'm gonna do a cover, and then I'm gonna start rapping. Then there's another video where I had the Australian flag, so and then I
Oh.
start rapping and stuff, and and I think I was trying to unintentionally, without realizing, I was trying to live out I was trying to represent the third culture kid
Yeah.
lifestyle, but I just didn't know that I was a third culture kid back then. I
Not
didn't know
yet.
that
Not
was a
yet.
thing. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know what to call myself or how to identify myself. So,
Uh,
but it was coming into play. It was there's hints there that of like a third culture kid living his life like with the flags. Like I'm even happy to show you some of my videos. Even like actually, if you go to my
yeah.
Instagram, just find one of my
Uh,
posts.
Share them your Instagram.
Yes, so my Insta is at IAM third 3RD culture kid.
Yeah.
So
You can
I'm sure
check
you
it
could
there.
put that in a little caption.
Yeah, I
You
put it
might be
there.
able to see it right now as we're speaking. But
Yeah.
if you go into my Instagram, you'll find a post there. It's actually connected to a song called Reminder, which is a song that I've just recently released.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes, yeah, yeah, of
Okay. Okay.
course. But in that post, I have a little video of me rapping as a little young boy with an Australian
Oh.
flag, and that's only just one of the videos that I've put out there
So
15
I
years ago.
think 15 years ago, you manifested yourself going here.
Yes,
Because
without realizing.
this
Yes,
will
yes.
lead to the next question.
Okay, good, good, good. That's good.
So, do you think that Australia will help you? Will help you your career as an artist?
Oh, I like that question. I've been thinking about
Because
that.
you
Yeah.
manifested it 15 years ago with
Yeah.
the
And they
flag.
ended up here in
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah. Do you think?
That's funny.
I think so. If
That's a
you
good
can,
question. That's a
yeah.
very good question. I look. I've been to the U.S., so as you know, I listen a lot to American rappers. So
Yeah,
it would make sense for someone like me to move there and make some
yeah.
noise.
LA,
Or
Hollywood
LA,
dream.
yeah. My sister, shout out again to my ate.
If she still lives there.
She still lives there. She lives in
Yeah.
California, so I could easily move there if I wanted to. If I have the resources, of course. There's a lot to think about when you're moving countries.
Uh huh.
But I think you know here in Sydney, it might not be as big as the US,
Uh-huh.
but there is a scene here. There's a music scene here. It's a
Yeah.
growing music scene.
I think
And
the senior is growing.
it is, and
Yeah.
I think it's good to jump on this growing music scene and be a
Yeah.
part of it. Like in California, hip hop is so established. Like
Yeah.
who the OGs are.
Yeah.
Kendrick. We go even way back to all the older rappers, and there's just it's already been established
Yes,
here.
yes.
I think there is a form of establishment, but I think there's still more room for it to be even more established, like an
Yeah.
actual proper music scene that will come up here, and I'd like to be part of that. Like and I'm here right now. I don't think I'm moving anytime soon,
Yeah.
and it's not as big as California or the U.S. So I think that kind of gives me an opportunity to actually make more of a noise, or make some noise and be heard more, I guess,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
by the people here. And
You'll be one of the OGs here.
yeah, yeah, I'd love to be, if I can, be a Sydney OG. The thing is, Australian drill is pretty big here,
Yeah.
which is not really my style. So my style as a rapper, I get a lot of inspiration from American rappers. So I
American.
sound more like my flow sounds a little bit more American. But rap is rap. Anywhere you go, rap is listened to, and
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna.
So aside from MGK
Yeah.
and which the other artists you told earlier,
There was Tiny Tempa as well.
Tiny Tempo,
Yeah.
who were your influences?
MGK, Tiny Tempa, and then I actually went through a phase where here's a
Who influenced you? Like,
yeah. I went through a so I have a set of different. I would put this in three
ooh,
stages, right?
3CK.
So three again. I don't know why. I think this is
Your
the thing to
favorite
me, right?
number.
Three. My favorite number, 3CK, always comes in threes. But
Yeah, yeah.
the first one was MGK, Tiny Tempa, Flowrider, these guys. And then the second one, and I come from a like a very religious background. Like my parents, they raised me up
Christians.
in a Christian household, so there was a lot of expectation for me to rap Christian. They
Ah, yeah,
wanted me to,
yeah,
rap
I know what I mean.
like like I'm just rapping about God, like that's what they expect me to be. And so there was a stage where I was listening a lot to Christian rappers. So there was a lot, like, and I would count that as part of my growth as an artist.
Uh-huh.
So there are the likes of Lecrae, like this is one of the. I think Lecrae has a little group called 116 or 116. Reach Records, I think that's what it is, and there will be other people like Andy Mineo. I still remember some of these names. But eventually I've come to realize as well, like I have to stay true to how I'm wired. Like just because I'm a rapper and I happen to be also a Christian, like it doesn't mean
Yeah,
I have to be
yeah, yeah.
exactly like those guys that I was listening to who were rapping about
Because
Christianity and
because the other rappers like they flex. No,
they flex.
aside from the Christian rappers,
Yeah.
the other rappers they flex
They flex
money,
money, yeah, and then
girls, women.
girls, women, and then just the other extreme end of like they're just rapping about it's like just like word like just talking about God and talking
Ah,
about
yeah,
being a
yeah, yeah.
Christian. And I think for me, like I respect that. I like some of
Both.
the things that I've heard
Yeah.
like from that stage of
Oh,
listening to Christian rap and then also the stage of listening to just the secular rap. But I had to find my originality here. Like I had to find my what like how I'm gonna be presenting myself. Like I needed to find out how I was gonna present myself as a
yeah, yeah.
rapper. And for some reason, I didn't feel like I really belonged to both of those styles of rapping, like Christian
Yeah.
rapping and like the really common secular rapping, which is just rapping about girls and all that. And so I had to ask myself, so where do I sit
Yeah,
in the
where do you sit?
spectrum
Where do you
of
sit in the
rapping?
table?
And that's
Just
where
like the rock, huh?
exactly, yeah.
And Roman Reigns,
Right of
right,
the
right.
table, yeah. And
Yeah.
so for me, it took me some time, but years later, and it took me many years until finally, when I found out about being a third culture kid,
Oh,
that I was a third culture kid, then I realized, oh, so this is the message that I want to rap about. It's the
oh,
life of a third culture kid. I'm a Christian, yes,
yes,
and also I have respect for mainstream artists. I listen to them, I
yeah,
learn from them too, but I have my message.
yeah,
And this is my message. I am somebody that was raised by multiple cultures. I can't hide that. That naturally comes out of me. Literally,
yeah,
I was telling you, I have flags in each video. Every
yeah,
time I
yeah.
was rapping, when I started doing rap covers, 15 years ago,
Uh-huh.
it's always been a part of me, and it became a reality at some point. And now I know, and now this is what I'm offering to my audience. So
Yeah,
I'm a I'm a I'm a third culture kid rapper. That's
yeah,
that's what you want to call me. I'm not a Christian. I'm a Christian, but I
yeah,
don't rap Christian. I'm not a secular artist that also just talks about like yeah. I mean, I can flex a little bit. Like it's just part of the rap culture.
yeah, yeah.
You have a
It's
little
part of it.
flex. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
part of the culture. But with respect. Like I
yeah,
would do that with with a little bit of respect and consideration. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm a third culture kid rapper. So it's
So, how did your family reacted when you said to them that I wanted to pursue this? I want to pursue
oh
this
well.
rap music.
Yeah. Well, see, this question is very interesting because we all see it always comes back to culture.
Yeah.
This is this is why I feel that I really strongly resonate to the lifestyle or the idea of being a third culture kid because a lot of what I've been through is to do with this. But
Yeah.
my parents, Filipino,
Filipinos.
Asian parents,
Yeah.
don't mean to generalize them, but a lot of Asian parents are very strict and
When it
they'll
comes
be
to
hard on their kids, right? Like
yeah.
when they're growing up, they have expectations for their kids, so they expect their kids to like be to have a certain profession. Like usually it's to do with career. So I think there's a lot of expectation around trying to have like a really high paying profession. So
Uh-huh.
my parents would expect me to be a doctor,
Oh,
be a nurse or be an engineer or all these high paying
your,
jobs.
your sister is a nurse.
She's a nurse and she's actually a product of that upbringing.
Yeah.
She didn't like to be a nurse. And again, I'm not throwing shots at
Yeah.
my parents. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they did their best. They're awesome. They love us,
Mm.
but it can be very challenging growing up in that environment because you can't choose for yourself.
Yeah.
You let them choose for you, and to
Mm.
some extent. And I had to grow up in that same household, so I had to,
Mm.
I was told I was going to be an engineer, I was going to be this and that, all
Yeah.
these high
Yeah. After
paying professor
graduating.
job after
Yeah.
graduating. So I didn't really think
Mm.
that rapping was going to be a big thing up until I started pursuing it more and I
Yeah.
started getting more opportunities to rap and I started seeing success. Like I
Mm.
started seeing myself thrive in this pursuit of,
Yeah.
you know, of being a rapper. And I think it came to a point where, there has to be a real conversation, between myself and my parents.
Mm.
And there was a moment where I had to start slowly making choices for myself, and that was hard. Like they were a lot of the times they were against some
Mm.
of these choices that I made. Like moving out of the
Mm.
house and doing my own thing for a while. Like even that in itself was a big
Mm.
thing, and I had to leave the house at some point because like I had to. When I left the house, it actually brought me closer to realizing more what I really wanted to do with
Yeah.
my life, and that's where rap even came more into play.
Mm.
So yeah, so initially my parents they just wanted me to have a high paying profession. That's
Mm.
what they wanted, and then I managed to move out at some point,
Yeah.
and at that time I've already been rapping for a few years. I've written a few songs as well.
That was in New Zealand.
That was in New Zealand, actually. That
Mm.
was all happening in New Zealand. Thank you for bringing that up. So I
Mm.
actually decided to go and really pursue rapping when
Mm.
I left my parents even more. And I got my mic, I invested on the audio interface. I had my little laptop, and I just started doing it at
Yeah.
the place I was living in at the time.
Mm.
And I started professionally producing music, or attempted to professionally produce music.
Uh,
So that's the story initially. Now my parents, thank God, they're more supportive now. I think it really
yeah.
helps to have a supportive family when it comes to pursuing your career goals. I think they've come to realize
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
this is my passion. I think it also helped that they saw some of the things that I've achieved
Yeah.
as I pursued rapping, and maybe we can touch on this a little bit more later, depending on
Yeah.
how we go with this interview. But I went from rapping in schools to then rapping in the streets, and then at some point even getting recognized by like one of like the big radio stations in New Zealand, like shout
Yeah.
out My FM, and even being recognized by Jack Harlow's team, who happened to be passing by while I was doing a cover of What's Poppin'. So
Wow.
like that raked in a lot of views. By the way, I went from like 100. I think I only had less than 100 followers in TikTok, and within the
Before.
span of 2 to 3 days since I met Jack Hollow's team, I went from that to getting 4,000 plus
Subscribers.
followers in
Ah.
TikTok. And
Okay.
so things like that. Like Papa would see stuff like that, and and like I raked in about like 200K views as well. So that's
Mm.
quite a fair bit like at that
Wow.
time. And I was like a well known person or anything like that, but it just went viral. And yeah, my
Yeah.
parents saw all of that. And one day they sat with me in the couch, and my mother asked me this question. She said, "Jeremiah, gusto mo ba talaga mag-rap?" So
Oh.
she asked me, "Do you really want to rap?"
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, like I'm really passionate about it." And then like I've done it for a few years now.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what my mother said, like her response.
What?
And
What
she
did you
said,
say?
"So kung gusto mo talaga mag-rap, di gawin mo na. Sige, go,
Mm.
do it, rap. It's
Mm.
your dream, right? Then follow your dream. You know, you haven't gone to the university already.
Mm.
Might as well do
Person.
this.
Yeah.
So you still have something you can work towards to.
Yeah.
So go follow your dream." It was like similar to this. We were having this conversation on the couch as well, so
Mm.
while sitting in the living room, and I'll never forget that. That was a big moment for me, just having
Uh,
their support. And so now they're I believe they're my number one fans now.
yeah.
They back me up the whole way. they're now at a stage where every time I'm doing music, they're like, yeah, just do it, pursue it.
Yeah, I
We're
can
your
see, I
fan.
can see their
Yeah,
posts.
yeah, their posts. So they
Yeah.
share a lot of these videos around of me rapping, and like I appreciate that. So shout out to Mama and Papa. Thank you
Shout
for
out Tito
all your
Tita.
love and support. You definitely have played a huge part in helping me get to this moment and this point. So
So you're doing rap now, but
yeah,
you're also doing a like 9 to 5 job.
yes, yeah. So
So how do you juggle? How do you fix your schedule,
yeah,
your time management?
yeah. See, when you're an adult, generally, it is a tricky time for us because we're always on the move. We're busy people.
Yeah.
We're always trying. Or there's so many things to do. Not like when you were young. All you had to do is just go to school, come back home, eat whatever is in the table, and go to sleep. Now we're adults, so we're always out and about. And I think for me, I've had to learn to prioritize what's very important to me, music being one of them. And usually, when you prioritize something, it also comes with a cost. So,
Yeah, yeah,
some people that you might be with before and you're no longer with them, so you can make more room for the music,
yeah, yeah.
or certain things that you used to do but you're not doing them as much anymore, so you
Sacrifice.
can, yeah, sacrifice. It comes with a cost. And so for me, what it looks like to do music right now is I work two jobs. I work for Samsung, and I work as a support worker for a special needs college. And so I would,
Dude, 2 jobs.
yeah, two jobs. I'm right now, sounds too much, but I work 7 days a week. I try and take days off whenever I can, but but this is what it means for me to, to pay the expenses, to pay for things that
The
I want to pay
bills.
for, some of the stuff that I want to get,
Oh
and
yeah,
also be able to invest in my music.
yeah.
In
Investment.
life, nothing
Yeah,
comes in for free. Like nothing comes for free.
yeah.
So you gotta work hard for it, and that's some of the things that I've learned over the years. Is I gotta work hard, and with music, trying to get music out there, releasing new music, producing new music, whatever it is, I have to invest in that. I have to
Yeah, yeah,
pay producers, I have to pay a mix engineer, and so I have to have these jobs, even if it does take a lot of my time, but I need to have those jobs. So I would work an 8 to 3 hour shift between Monday and Friday.
Wow.
So usually I'll try and work on my music at night. So usually I'm active at night. This is where I'll if it's not raining like today, I'll go out and I'll start rapping in the streets, or
Yeah,
I'll go write a song. I'll sit down in the couch, just me by myself. I'll listen to a beat. Actually, not this like this. I'll be just
yeah.
typing, trying to
Yeah.
make lyrics, or I'll try and do some networking.
You know,
Go to
we're doing the same because for me,
yeah,
I
yeah,
also do like I work in a hotel and a sales job
yeah, yeah,
in the morning till afternoon, and
yeah,
at night I brainstorm, I
yeah,
edit videos, I post
yeah. He's probably
videos.
editing this right now as we're talking.
Yeah,
So
while you're
that's
watching this,
yeah.
it's so hard to edit.
Exactly, yeah, very similar stages, but like it's that's the life of an adult.
Yeah,
Being an adult is it really takes up a lot of your time.
yeah,
And you have to be, you know, you- we talked about it before, but time is very valuable. And what you invest in now,
yeah,
that will affect your future a lot. And so, what I want to do right now is I want to do things right now that's going to impact my future well. Like I want to see myself thriving in my career,
yes,
to do with my music, and obviously all other areas as well included. Finding the right friends, the right person as well to be with, and like I want to invest now so that I will have those things in the future. So
yeah.
two jobs, usually at night. I will do my
The
music,
music thing.
and if I really do need to take that day off so I can have one full day dedicated to music, I'll do it. But just here and there. Um, it's nice to be able to just
Uh-huh.
have that system at place. Although I would say it does take a lot
Yeah.
out of me. So I gotta make
Well,
sure I look after myself.
sacrifice.
And it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like what I said, your dreams,
You
what you're
just
trying to
need
pursue.
to like have a right time management
Yeah,
for
time
everything.
management. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
because you need to look up for your health,
Your health. Yeah, going
for
to the
your
gym, right?
career. Yeah,
The
yeah,
gym as well.
for the gym, everything.
That's
Everything
right.
needs to be balanced.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's very important that you can, you start off with that. Just have
yeah,
a
yeah.
good system at place. Have a good scheduling, and that's that, and then it just
Good
goes from there.
schedule.
So,
All right, let's move on to your artistic style.
all right. Okay. Nice.
So,
All right.
how would you describe your rap style?
Okay.
I mean, your style as a
My style.
musician,
Okay.
as a
Okay.
rap artist.
All right. So I would say I'm very lyrical. I'm a very lyrical rapper. So
So you focus much on the songwriting.
yes, and a songwriter too. So
Uh,
my flow as a rapper a lot to do with being a lyrical rapper. So
yeah.
lyrical rappers are I try and enunciate each word. Like I try and
Ah,
pronounce each word. I I don't think I'm much of a mumbler or like I can sing as well like a little bit, but I prefer rapping.
so you really
And
focus on the diction.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I really say each word, and I find it very rewarding if I
Ah,
say each. I'm a bit OCD, so I try and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I try and perfect my craft, and one of the things I've been perfecting for the past 15 years is every time I rap, whatever song it is, I enunciate projection as well. These are all very basic sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
understanding on like how to pretty much be a singer or a rapper or something like just vocalizations and stuff like the best way to execute it. But my style, I would
Yeah,
say,
your
is very
style.
lyrical. So I like to maybe a good way to explain this is talking about other rappers and who I kind of sound like. So I would include the likes of Jack Harlow. So I
Yeah.
really like his style of rapping. So he's got a bit of a cheeky way of rapping. He can be a bit funny. He can also be serious. He's also lyrical as well. So you can understand him when he raps like word for word. I also like this rapper called Connor Price, who's also kind of in that sort of similar style, like like lyrical rapper, and you can hear every word, and a bit of singing here and there as well,
Yeah,
but mainly rapping. So that's my style. That's my style
that's
of
your
rapping. I'm
style.
a lyrical rapper. There's mumble rappers. There's those auto tune rappers where they sing their rap a lot. But I'm a lyrical rapper. So like the likes of Jack Harlow, J Cole. So these guys,
Jacob.
they're very lyrical rappers. So I would classify myself as
Like that.
a lyrical rapper. Yeah, for sure. Um,
So if you will have a collab
yeah.
with an
Who
artist
can
you want to choose, who would it be?
so
Collab.
if when it comes to collabing an artist,
Yeah. Who would it be?
so collabing for me, I think the names that I've mentioned is Jack Harlow and Connor Price. I
Uh,
think those two would be really great to collab with. I was this close to meeting Jack Harlow about 3 years ago, 2022, when I met his team. I think it just so happens he was on tour, and when you're on tour, you're a busy man, especially if you're like the main act. So you're gonna be busy performing, networking, resting in between your sets. So I
yeah.
wouldn't think he would have had time to meet me, which is absolutely fine. But maybe the next time we meet, I've got some music out there. It's blowing up,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
he happens to look my way, and he likes some of the things he's heard, and maybe this is the time for us to bring it all together and finally have that collab. So Jack, I'm
Yeah,
keeping an eye out
exactly.
on you, man. We might jump on the same track sometime soon.
It
So
will
I got you,
happen.
bro. I got you. Uh,
Remember the time you manifested the
ah,
Australia flag?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it will happen too
Oh,
for Jack Harlow.
no, that's it. I love that.
Yeah,
Let's manifest some more.
yeah,
Let's
let's
let's keep
manifest.
working towards our goals. Connor Price, I really like him too. He's really good. So maybe Connor, if you're looking for any collabs right now, as you usually do, because what he does is he has this series where he spins the globe. He
Uh-huh.
like he would record himself doing it. He lands his finger on the
Yeah,
globe, and
yeah.
whichever country he points at, he will find a rapper in that country and
Oh,
try
yeah.
and collab with them. So I don't know if you're still doing that series, Connor, but like if you're gonna point at Australia, you can point at me. All right,
Yeah, third
I'm
culture
ready to
food.
go. Third cold chicken, man. I got you. I got some bars for you, bro. I got you. Bro.